up and stick around and
I had to hit
work the
record, man.
system.
Sorry about that. Danny, let's get started, man. I wanted to know everybody's on this call. They're ready for it. They're like, hey, Danny, they're like, Frank, what's the secret to the business? And I'm like, well, I mean, I've only been here, what, 6 years? I don't know the secret, but
Secret.
maybe Mr. Young can reveal that secret to us today. So let's get started. What's the
Well,
secret?
well, the secret is there's no secret. Okay, that's the secret. What they're really asking, Frank, is I want the easiest, shortest way to win here, and there isn't any, you know. But the secret, to answer your question, the secret is personal growth. You have to grow you. See, people come here, Frank, all walks of life. Everybody on this call came from a different place, and if you, for example, had a job, because this is the way most people's life goes, okay? Your parents tell you what to do, your teachers tell you what to do, your coaches tell you what to do, your professors tell you what to do, and your boss tells you what to do. So you spent your entire life being told what to do. You come here, nobody tells you what to do. See, you're the boss, you're the CEO of your business day one. You are. And a lot of people struggle with that. But if you come here, say from a job, and you've been making, say, 40,000 a year, 50,000 a year for 4, 5, 6 years, 10 years, 20 years, whatever, your brain thinks that you're worth 40 or $50,000. And so if you don't change your brain once you get here, you're not going to make more than 40 or 50,000 here because your brain controls your life, okay? And your brain will tell you what it thinks you're worth based on what you've been doing with your life. And so if you don't change your brain, if you don't grow your brain, you don't grow you. And when I say personal growth is 100% of personal growth is above your shoulders, okay? This is the problem for a lot of people. You have to get yourself to the point. If you want to make 100,000 a year, you gotta get yourself to the point where you believe you're worthy of 100,000 a year. And that's a struggle for a lot of people, Frank. They don't want to change. You know, change brings pain 100% of the time. You try to quit smoking, try to lose weight. It's painful. But that's the good part about it, I think, okay? Because those people that can work through the pain to change themselves, to grow themselves psychologically, that's the ones that win here. So it's all personal growth. So if you say, okay, I want a person to grow, how do I do that? Simple. It's only four things. It's not 100 things. It's four things. Number one, you read. You got to read the right stuff. Look, a huge portion of my life, all I read was Sports Illustrated and Sports Page. That was it. Well, you're not going to win in business just reading those things, okay? So I had to read different books. I read a ton of biographies because biographies showed me that every single successful person ever struggled before they won. Every one of them.
Love it.
And so that helped me through my struggles, okay? And the second thing you got to do is you got to associate with the right people. That's what's so cool about Symmetry. You can associate with anybody here you want to. You have somebody in Symmetry that you want to talk to, we can hook you up with that person. They'll give you a few minutes. You go to a conference, same thing. We can hook you up with anybody in Symmetry. But you got to associate with the kind of people that you want to be like. You know, winners. I mean, winners are different animals now. I'm telling you, you gotta learn and what they know and see what they do and that sort of thing. So you have to associate with the right people, and you have that opportunity here every single day. Third thing is you have to attend. You got to get on stuff. You got to go to stuff. You know, you can't sit in your recliner and expect to learn this business to a degree that's going to pay off for you. So you get on huddles. You get see because stuff like this, stuff like your huddles and conference and the fall tours and all, these are just things you go to learn what you need to know in order to win. You have to learn this business. And then the last thing, which is I think, Frank, the thing that gets most people, you got to struggle. You're not going to win here without struggling, okay? There's going to be struggle because look, we're in the people business. And if any of y'all have ever had a job where you work with people that you didn't like, doing stuff you couldn't stand for not enough money, you understand what I'm talking about, okay? Here, you have to learn how to deal with a lot of different kind of people. You can't just recruit and build with people just like you because you're going to wind up with a fraternity or a sorority, okay? They don't pay much to build one of those things. And so, you know, you have to learn how to deal with people that aren't like you, older, different religions, different political beliefs, all that kind of stuff that people like to argue about.
Right.
And that's going to be the really the only struggle we have is the fact that you got to learn to deal with a lot of different people. You got to have if you're gonna build something here, which is silly if you don't build something here, but if you're going to build something here, you're going to have to be look, people are going to have to be able to plug into you. That's why you got to get strong psychologically because they can't plug into you and have both of you die, because you're weak psychologically.
Right.
So that's how you grow. It's all about you because you you can't grow your agency if you don't grow yourself.
That's awesome, Danny. I mean, I'm actually taking notes. I hope everyone write a number one below if you guys are taking notes. I mean, Danny is full of wisdom, guys. I mean, it's pretty impressive here. Again, one, personal growth, which is reading. Two is associating with winners. And yeah, sometimes you have to like maybe some people in your family or your life that are surrounding you that are kind of not really winners that are telling you you can't do this, disassociate with those, right?
Yeah.
And then three, you got to attend something. Four, struggle. That is probably
Look, understand this. Struggle is your friend. Struggle makes you stronger, not weaker. You break a bone in your arm. If they set that bone right, put a cast on it, when it heals, it is stronger than it was before you broke it. So, you get knocked down, you got a choice. You can get your butt back up, or you can just lay there and wait for your mama to come get you, take you home, lay out your Spidey pajamas and make you some SpaghettiOs, maybe, okay?
right.
I always got up. That's all I did, Frank. I focused on getting up. I didn't focus on getting knocked down. I focused on getting up. And when you get knocked down enough and you get up enough, you get to the point where you're strong enough to not get knocked down anymore.
So
But
Danny,
you got to
what
go through that.
I want you to talk to the new people here that maybe they had a week or two, or they've invested a lot of money in leads and they're not seeing their return right now. I want you to
Mhm.
speak to them, man. Speak to them like with your fatherly wisdom that you have, what you just said. Speak to them, please.
It's all just a test.
Yes.
Brick walls are put there to see how bad you want something. That's what this thing's about. I have people ask me all the time, Frank, how many people make it at Symmetry? Every single person that wants to makes it here. The ones
Wow.
that don't make it here didn't want to bad enough. And that's all I showed up with. I was raised in athletics. I mean, it was back before, they had face masks and football and stuff like that, but I was raised in athletics. And I learned a lot of stuff that helps me here. Which, by the way, is why you can talk managing partner, all that kind of stuff. I'm a coach. That's about all I do is I coach. Okay. And
Yeah.
I learned all that playing athletics because here's what I learned. I learned that you don't practice, you don't play. You can't not show up for practice all week and expect to get a game uniform to play on Friday or Saturday. I also learned that you're not going to win every game. They don't call the season off because you lost a game. So I learned that. I learned this is critical. I learned how to be coachable. I learned that everybody needs a coach. Tiger Woods had a coach. Michael Jordan had a coach. Everybody needs a coach. You can't learn this thing by yourself. You're gonna be so frustrated. You're gonna get killed. Matter of fact, if you're not coachable, I think it's the number one cause of death here in Symmetry is
Yeah.
being uncoachable. All right. And so, it always made total sense to me, Frank, that you listen to people that are where you want to be. They'll tell you what they've done. They'll tell you what you need to do. I've always gone by the pile test. Okay, I've always listened to the one that has the biggest pile of money because that's
Yeah.
that's who you learn from.
30
And you can't.
million isn't something to laugh
Well,
at
and,
here.
and look, it's not just 30 million, Frank. It's 30 million. It's 30,000 applications that none had my name on.
Ooh.
None.
Well, say that again.
None.
Hold on, say that again. I like that. Say it again.
30,000 applications. None had my name on it because I peaked. Look, I've only been here 12 years. I peaked at 10 apps back in my 10th year somewhere. But I've written, I didn't look, I didn't come here to sell insurance. I came here to build an agency that's going to stay in my family for generations. That's what I did. I came here because well, let me put it this way. I don't like sales. I don't like salespeople. Salespeople in the early part of my life, Frank, salespeople were the reason I was in debt so much because they made me buy stuff they were selling. Okay, so I grew up despising salespeople. Insurance now nauseated me. So here I find myself in 1984, desperate, married, two kids,
Yeah.
put them in private school. 2 years later, we're struggling every month to pay tuition every month.
Mm.
And so I got in the insurance industry out of desperation, with Primerica part-time. And I was part-time 13 months and I resigned from my Exxon job at a time in the world where nobody resigned from Exxon. Okay. It was the biggest company in the world at the time.
Yeah.
But I did. Best financial decision I ever made. Now, everybody else in my family thought I was stupid, because I resigned from Exxon. See,
Yeah.
their thought was all I had to do was stay there till I was 65, get a pension. I mean, just, walk into the sunset.
Yeah.
No, no. Because look, I worked shift work at Exxon for 16 years, Frank. I never one day, not one day did I ever feel like that's what I was supposed to be doing with my life. But I was there. I went there out of desperation. I got stuck. Y'all know anybody got stuck doing something they didn't want to do with people they don't like for not enough money?
Right.
That's the
Right.
majority of people.
Hmm.
And so it's, that's all I did. I've learned lessons. See, a few things that I've lived by. Number one, every prize has a price. Some people struggle with that. This is why everybody doesn't drive a BMW or a Mercedes because of the price. They don't live in a nice neighborhood because of the price.
Mm.
Every price, every prize has a price. You got to determine what price you're willing to pay. Because this thing, the prize is here. You'd be shocked at what somebody can get here
Yeah.
if they're willing to pay the price. So I've always lived by. I've had no problem showing up, no problem working, no problem learning. I learned how to be successful because success has its own language. I had to learn the language. I didn't know any success language. I didn't know about reading. I didn't know about associating or attending. I didn't know all that stuff. But see, the difference between wealthy people in this country and middle income people in this country is information. Wealthy people have always had the information. Middle income has been left to themselves to figure it out, and they've done a very, very poor job. That's why middle income is in so much debt. Middle income is struggling in this country right now. They're struggling, and we have the answer to that. We can solve all their problems.
Yeah.
We got to go get them and drag their butt here so they can see it.
But Danny, I want to, look, from the outside looking in, I'm seeing a gentleman that's been doing it for a while, has been very successful, but no one really knows your struggle. You said that you had two children that were in private school. You left Exxon, which, man, arguably one of the best companies in the world to work for. And
Mhm.
then all of a sudden, you find yourself at a company that you couldn't scale and grow from. Talk to us about the struggle and what kept you going, my man. Like, talk to us about that.
We we don't talk about it a lot because it's our struggle. Look, understand this about your problems, okay? Whatever your problems are, nobody cares. They got their own problems. Nobody cares. Okay. About 90% don't care. The other 10% wish your problems were worse. So your problems are your problem. Our problems were our problems. But when I was with Primerica, I went there in 1984. 1988, 4 years in, I made $98,000. Now, nobody, listen to me, I was this far. Nobody in my family, in the history of the Youngs, nobody ever made 100,000 a year. And I was fixing to do that in 1989. And then Art Williams, the head of the company, left the company.
Right.
At that time, Frank, you knew a little bit about them, okay? Primerica, this guy built, Art Williams built an IMO, Primerica, into a 200,000 person sales force.
Right.
200,000. We were doing 25,000 applications a week with no leads, 100,000 apps a month, no leads, dominating the insurance industry. And then he left. Primerica went from 200,000 person sales force down to about 60,000 in less than a year because he was gone. And so when people leave, a lot of their stuff, just about all their stuff's warm market sales. Okay, you come work for them part time, and you sell your mother and your aunt, and you're about out of business after that. Well, if you quit, which a lot of them did, the mother and the aunt dropped their policy. Well, if that's a chargeback, that's going to roll up. If you don't pay it, it's going to roll up to your upline.
Right.
And so we're there. I back this is back in the days where you actually got a check and a check stub and stuff, and it said said I had like a $1,100 chargeback. Then I get another one, and the 1,100 is now 3,500. Then it
Mm.
went to 6,000. It kept going, Frank, till it was over 100,000 roll up from people that were down and that were in my downline that quit, and their mother and their aunt dropped their
Danny,
policies.
I
What?
want you to stop there for a second. I want you to emphasize that because there's people that are calling and stressed out about $200, $300 chargeback. You said right now you had two kids in school, private school.
Correct.
You were
Correct.
at the top of your game. Everyone's Danny Young, but yet you had this $100,000 over your and which at that time was a real 100,000. Okay,
Oh yeah, it
hundred
was
thousand dollars.
it was a monster number now. It
Right,
was,
right.
and
So
it was now mine.
yeah, you
Okay.
you just kind of glossed over that, but I just want to tell everybody out here, the people that we interview here, ladies and gentlemen, they're battle tested. They have grit that is unsurpassed. And so I just want to take a moment and for you for let that sink in for a second. That Danny Young, you're seeing this gentleman, you guys, oh, he's nice, he's beautiful, he is a warrior, a freaking warrior. Battle
Uh,
tested, World War II style battle tested in the field, guys. All right, Danny, continue, please. I'm so inspired by it.
no, so anyway, what happened was because all they sold at the time was they sold term insurance and they sold I think they had maybe a fixed annuity maybe.
Okay.
Anyway, what they did was when you had a debt, they just kept your commissions until that debt was paid off. Well, excuse me, this is 100,000, okay? So I went. I want you to chew on this number, okay? I just told you I made $98,000
Right.
in 1988. In 1989, I made $8,900. Let me help you with that. Now that's 8,900.
Oh man, how was Mama? How was Mama and the kids?
Now, here's the way I looked at it, okay? It's still six figures. It's just that two of the figures are to the right of the decimal point, okay?
God, I love that. See how positive. Well,
That,
let's stop
that's
for a
how I
second.
looked at it.
Right,
So,
right on one down there. How positive was that? Instead of seeing it for, oh my goodness, right? He goes, wait a minute, honey. There's another zeros. There's like three more zeros there somewhere.
well, it's 8,900 doesn't sound like much, but you break it down by month, that's a little over 700 a month. I mean, what's the bad thing about that?
Yeah.
So this is where we found ourselves. Now, here's what I did. Sandy Young got her license. I took Sandy Young on every appointment with me, and we split that. They would
Wow,
keep my half to go against the debt, and we would get her half. She made about 30,000, so we wound up making less than 40,000 that year. But let me tell you what we did, Frank.
man.
First of all, we didn't share our misery with anybody. Okay,
Yeah.
our misery was our misery. Number two, we got up every day, put a smile on our face, and went to dadgum work. That's what we did. It took us 10 years to pay this debt off because look, it got to 100. It didn't stay there. It kept growing, but it took us 10 years to pay that off. Now, my last year at Primerica, 2006, because that was the whole decade of the 90s. All right, 2006, my last year there, I made $200,000 and got all of it.
Yeah.
But if we could go back to 1989,
Hmm.
we wouldn't change a thing.
Amen.
Here's why we wouldn't change a thing. That 10 years, Frank, is what made me and Sandy Young who we are today. That struggle. See, we went through that struggle together. We got up every day together, put a smile on our face, went to work together. And now we are reaping the benefits of that 10 years together.
That's powerful. Danny,
And it's also why some of y'all may have noticed I don't have a whole lot of sympathy for people that
yes.
get a lead with a bad phone number and burst into tears. Okay, no, that's not a problem. I've seen problems. That is not a problem. Get away from me. Okay, so you
Yeah.
got to struggle. You got to struggle, and look. You need to welcome struggle because most people understand this. We are in look. We get to play in an arena that is like a money buffet. You can get as much money out of this thing as you're willing to work for. But if you quit, we insist you take your hands out of our buffet. You got to take them with you, okay? Now, the size of the buffet is still the same. Now there's less people in it. See, there's a lot of things, Frank, I like about Symmetry. A lot of things I like about Symmetry. But I think that the thing I like most about it is the fact that it's hard. And it's built for those people strong enough to get to the point where they can't be knocked down.
Love it.
That's who reaps all the rewards. So if you want to quit, quit. I'll help you pack if you don't quit.
Yeah.
And I'll go find me somebody that's not going to quit. Because there's 163 million people out there today, right now, 163 million people in their cubicle or with their small business out there, hating every minute of it. So
Mm.
if you're not building something here, you're just not trying.
So wise, Danny. I'm gonna, and you have this thing. I mean, if you don't copyright this, Danny, I'm telling you, I'm gonna probably copyright it. And you've once broke down there's four type of people. I'm telling you, I'm gonna go copyright. Mess around a little bit, and I will. I did with the rule of five, which is just basically the symmetry system, and I went and put a trademark on it. So people can't say the rule
You're
of
gonna
five
steal my
anymore.
stuff, right? You're threatening
Hey,
to steal
listen.
my stuff.
Hey, listen, man, one of the things I learned really quick here is we encourage you to copy here. So you
Right.
broke down four types of people, Danny,
That's
and
right.
I want you to really talk about that. And I'm not going to do that. I want to read, I want to be the first one to buy your book, and I want you to be the first one to stop before
Look,
me. Talk to us about that. There's four
you got to
types of
build something here. You're going to wind up having four kinds of people in your agency. Okay, I've got them. Frank's got them. Sean's got them. Sean and Amanda, good to see y'all again. Okay, we got to have a meal together soon. Some of my favorite meal partners, I'm telling you. Except
Yes.
I mean, they use napkins. They know which way to reach for the silverware and stuff. I swear, this is so over my head. It's unbelievable. They're
They're
cultured,
foodies.
what they are. They're cultured.
Yes.
But you're going to have four kinds of people. You're going to have what I call VIPs. That's your very important people. These are the ones that you don't have to worry about, Frank. They get up every day and they go to work, they do the right things, and that's who's gonna do the most in your agency, VIPs. Then you got VTPs. That's your very teachable people. This is your next wave of VIPs. They're learning, they're hanging with the right people, they're showing up, they got a work ethic, they're self-studying, they ask the right questions. Then you have the VNPs. That's your very nice people. They're on every huddle. Every call. It's usually one of them usually has a cat on their shoulder. Okay, very nice people. They show up to everything. If y'all have a little gathering, they're going to be there. They'll bring a dish. If you ever have an event, put the very nice people in charge of refreshments. Okay, they're awesome at that. And so the problem is with very nice people, they never do anything. They don't. No agents, no clients. They're just nice. Then you have your VDPs. These are very draining people. These
Yeah.
are the ones that write one app a quarter. It's fully underwritten. It's got about 20 supplemental pages with it, with all the medications and everything. And then the carrier loses the app. So, but these people, here's the lesson to learn. Okay. Number one, you got to identify who's who on your team
Yeah.
because this is what you're going to have. The last two categories, the very nice people and the very draining people, want 90% of your time. The first two categories, the VIPs and the VTPs, deserve 90% of your time. And I'm gonna tell you, you're gonna become who you hang with. I promise you. So I learned this a long time ago, and I don't deal at all with the VNPs and VDPs. They can't find me. A lesson I've had to teach a lot of my agents, Frank, is that when you got a cell phone, when it rings, you got a red button and a green button. I found out if you don't push that green button, they can't get you. And so I just don't push the green button for a lot of people.
I got some buttons here.
Yeah, exactly right. So, but just look, you gotta know who's who on your team because you'll get on. Look, some people you get on the phone with, you can't get off the phone for like 2 weeks with them. Okay,
Oh,
they
yes.
just will not hang up, and so I don't do that. I talk to who I want to talk to, and that's the only ones I talk to. That people ask me, Frank, I get this all the time. You don't seem to get tired. Well, it's because I don't talk to idiots. Okay, I talk to who I want to talk to. I don't talk to just anybody. That's why I don't cold market recruit. I don't talk. Look, The atom, atom, the atom is a very, very, very important part of our lives. Okay, it makes up everything. Atoms are made up of protons, which are positively charged. Then you have neutrons, which are neutrally charged. Then you have morons. Okay, I don't deal with morons. I'm trying to recruit protons and neutrons. Okay, and so the fact that I don't talk to morons means that I don't get the life sucked out of me. That's what they do. They just suck the life out of you.
Danny, I want to run a five voices quiz on you, man.
You got no
I,
idea.
I,
I only have
no,
one, and it's Cajun. Okay, that's my voice. That's my main voice. It's Cajun.
I really love what you're
Don't make
saying,
me
but
look bad now. I'm in front of
no,
some of the people I can't pronounce their names on Sunday night, so don't embarrass me.
no, I really, so let's go over that. So there's very important people, there's very
Yes.
people, there's very negative people, there's very distracting people. And so I won't copyright that, but I want everybody, if you guys have that in your team and if you're building, write a number one. And then I wanted to ask you, because I had a list of questions, because I've had last time we had you, it was a complete blast. And we learned a lot from it. But you were brand new when you got here. And so what would you tell the new people? What would you do first and what would you this is like an easy question for you because I know what you're gonna say. But for those that don't really know Danny, what would you focus on and what would you completely avoid?
What I'd focus on was working on self more than working on stuff. Have y'all recognized how much stuff we have around this place? You got Summit, the grand doors of Summit. You can go in Summit and you can wander around for 40 years. There's so much stuff in Summit. And what we do, you see, here's the danger. This is what we do. Somebody, you recruit somebody. They get excited. They get through pre-licensing. They're excited. They get their state test. They're ecstatic. They get a contract. They send it in to Symmetry. They're excited. They get their welcome email. They're just jumping up to the moon excited. And what do? We take a big old pillow and we smother that excitement out of them because we throw them up in Summit. Go, my son, learn everything.
The Emerald City.
They had no, it ain't Emerald City. I promise you that. It's not Emerald City. I go to Emerald City on the Yellow Brick Road. The Summit is not there. And look, we have a robust training class. What I'm saying is whole training program. What I'm saying is if you get caught up in that, you're going to spend the rest of your career learning stuff. There's too much stuff to learn.
Love
I
it.
want people to learn by doing, not
Mm.
learn by studying. Okay? Because you get paid while you're learning. And plus by learning by doing, you're going to learn what to do and learn what not to do, what works, what doesn't work. Okay. You can go to the library and read every single book you can find on swimming and still drown in the bathtub. You got to get in the water to learn how to swim. Okay. You can't read a book and learn how to swim. So same thing here. But I worked on myself. And somebody asked me, Frank, on a couple of calls ago that, what did you do early in your career that helped you the most later in your career? I said that when everybody else was working on their sales skills, I was working on my people skills because I understood that we're in the people business. See, I've got to learn how to get along with a lot of people because people aren't going to go along with somebody they don't get along with. Okay. And so you got to like people. People have to like you. You got to be able to attract people, not by being pretty, but by being looking like somebody's going, they know where they're going and it's a better place than this guy's going. And so I worked on self. I started reading something besides Sports Illustrated. I started hanging around. I was very fortunate, Frank, early in my career to be able to walk into a room and kind of scan the room and see who could from who couldn't, if that makes sense, okay? Kind of like that movie with the little kids that I see dead people. I could see winners. And I'm still like that today. And some of y'all know because I bullied my way into your life and got you on my Zoom schedule every week. But I know what a winner looks like. I know what they sound like. I know what they do. I just pay attention. I just watch. I'm a coach. That's what a coach does. He's got 12 kids coaching high school basketball. You got 20 kids come out. The problem is you only got 12 uniforms. And so you got to get 8 kids to quit So you have you have a uniform for each kid for the games.
Yeah.
And that's why they make you run wind sprints at the end of practice. Not to get you in shape. It's, "Oh, I got to get 8 kids to quit. So we're gonna run wind sprints until I'm down to 12 people. But the coach pays attention. That's what you're doing. That's what Sean does. You pay attention because winners leave clues.
Right.
See, I don't look, you don't make winners, you find winners.
Mm, yep. And
Nobody made you, Frank. You were a winner when you got here. We just recognize that you were a winner and you treat winners differently.
yeah.
I
I
forgot what
love
that question was, by the way.
No,
Sorry.
no, you answered it. Working on yourself is the first thing you
Work on
do.
yourself. Just work on yourself.
You know, you said something awesome because so much of this business is working on yourself. But when you see people falling out, I just had a leader of mine tell me, he's like, the hardest part about this business, Frank, is I care so much when everybody like when they just fail, they keep falling out. I'm like, that's part of it, right? And that's what you just described, that you want to run enough wind sprints. You want to have them run enough wind sprints so that they do quit, so that the ones that stay are the ones that are going to,
Look, this business was built for champions. And
yes.
champions are different. Champions are people. Now, look, anybody can make money here. Anybody can. You can look. I've got agents that make $500 a month. That's what they want to make. Pay tuition for one kid. I've got agents that make 5,000 a month part time. I've got agency owners make 75,000 a month. So it's whatever somebody is willing to work for. Understand that most people are not willing to work long term. They'll come here. It's like the guy that went to work and he said, "Man, I got a job in construction." And he said, "I had no idea. I mean, it's 40 hours a week. I had no idea it was every week." I said, I can't do that. No, no, I can't do that. See,
Right.
no, this is not a sprint. This is a marathon. This is a journey that you're on. You have to get to where you enjoy the journey. We're on the yellow brick road. Where we're going, Frank, look at where we are. Sean, look where we are. I mean, Frank, you came from insurance. Look
Right.
what you did. What you did your first 12 months there. You won a sword. Okay, you won a very few people, 10 people or something that won a sword, but you didn't make any money. But you got a
Right.
sword. You
Yeah.
come here and you made way more money your first year here than you did your last year there. But you came, you look, you asked the right questions, you hung with the right people, you showed up every day, you had a good attitude, you had a work ethic. That's why you're where you are. Most people can't do that. Most people show up for a short period of time. First time they get punched in the throat, they're gonna go start screaming mama.
Right.
You can't change that, okay? You don't make people, you find the right people. And the right people come in the same door that the wrong people come in. And you have to become a good enough coach to be able to discern one from the other. They
Right.
act differently, okay? Winners leave clues. They show up, they ask the right questions, they got to work it. It's all the same. And look, we just work. There's too many people in symmetry that will recruit a 2 on a leadership scale. They'll recruit a 2 and they'll spend months trying to turn that 2 into a 10. It is not going to work. This is like trying to turn a pickle back into a cucumber. It ain't going to work. Okay? Go find you a 7. Go find you a 8. Maxwell said that. Maxwell said if you're a 4 and you work your butt off, become a 6, ain't nobody paying money to watch a 6.
Right.
But if you go recruit a 7 and they work their butt off, become a 9, people will pay to watch the 9.
Mm.
That's what I do. I don't work with 2s. I feel bad for them, but I don't work with them because I don't have time. First of all, okay, I'm 114 years old now. Ain't no way in the world I'm gonna try to get a 2 in.
So, Danny,
But
my mentor, Mr. Sean and Amanda Kim, I remember he told me once, and Sean, you remember this. You're like, Frank, you can't turn a gazelle into a lion.
I
And
know.
that exactly what you just said. I'm just
Yeah.
hearing it with a southern draw, a little bit of Cajun draw, but it's crazy. Sean, do you remember you said that when we were like on our runs?
Sean and
Yeah,
Amanda,
yeah,
I'll
it
tell you,
was
let me tell you about these two, okay? They look like they just got off a wedding cake to come get on the day, okay? Good Lord. How
yeah.
can you look? Sean is born. He gets in the good hairline, the good face line, the good teeth line. What the hell was I doing all this time? Okay. I don't get it.
Then he, it's
Yeah, you know I'm telling the truth.
Yeah,
Hey,
we
Sean, go
love you,
ahead, man.
Danny. Yeah, we love you, Danny.
And Sandy.
Yeah, Sandy. Yeah, we love the whole Young family. Yeah, they're definitely our family as well. But yeah, I actually heard that from Eric Thomas, Frank. Eric Thomas, one of my favorite motivational speakers, and he said that like you can't
Stolen
turn a
from me as
gazelle
well.
into a lion. Yeah, you
Yeah,
can't turn a
that's
gazelle
right.
into a
That's
lion,
it.
right? And
You can look, there's
um,
one person on earth that you can change. That's you. See, two things you can't change. You can't change the past and you can't change other people. Two things you can change is you can change yourself and you can change the future. You
Mm,
can.
love it.
Whatever you want, you can get it here. If money will do it for you, you can get it here. You want more money? You want more freedom? You want more control over your life? You get it here. But you got to work for it, and it just all comes down to how much do you want it? Because what you want, this is a law, this is not a theory, okay?
Right.
What you want determines what you do, and what you do determines what you get. So if you want to get more, people think I just need to do more. No, you need to want more. It starts with your want. Think about this. Think about how much time you spend every day thinking about what you want. I would guess very little. And yet that drives everything. It drives everything.
And Danny, I would love for you to maybe share your vision with Symmetry, where it's headed and where it's going, and why the agents on this call should be excited about it. Because I feel that, and it's not because I'm working with Symmetry, but I've interviewed hundreds of thousands of agents who come from other companies, and they all say the same thing. We have the best system, best support,
Absolutely. There's nothing
best
like this.
products, right?
There's nothing like this.
Hmm.
But here's what I know. I came here 12 years ago. How long did you come here? How long ago was it, Sean? You came
8 years
here
ago.
8 years ago. So when Sean showed up 8 years ago, he had a much better opportunity than I did 12 years ago. Frank, how long you been here?
It'll be 7 years, December
Yeah.
3rd.
Better opportunity than Sean had. Way better opportunity than I had. People that show up today, think about this. You show up today, don't know, come here from Sikkim, okay? Don't know if this is going to work for you. Don't know, okay? Apprehensive, scared, don't know what you're doing. Hey, welcome to everybody's world, okay? None of us knew what we were doing when we showed up here. But think about what you're walking into compared to what I walked into, what Sean walked into. Here's what you have out there now. More people with mortgages than they had 12 years ago. We're in the mortgage protection business. There's more people out there with terrible, if any, retirement accounts now.
Hmm.
People are taking more money since COVID. COVID was terrible, but it was great for us because more people have taken money out of their retirement accounts, stopped putting money into their retirement account, and there's a world of hurt waiting for them. Okay, this is why this is why a lot of people used to you'd work till you're 65 and retire. No, people work till they die now because they can't afford to retire because their retirement sucks. We can fix that. Okay, you got more boomers, senior citizens, my generation, that don't want to go fund me when they die. You see it every day on Facebook. Every day they
Yep.
get to go fund me for somebody. Boomers don't want that. That's why they'll pay $100 a month for a $15,000 burial policy. They will all day long. Okay, it's a great market for us. How about debt? You think there's more people in debt today since COVID than there was 12 years ago when I was here?
Oh,
You
yeah.
understand that? You understand when I was born? God knows that's a long time ago. But 1950, I was 3 years old in 1950. There was zero consumer debt.
Wow.
Zero. Today there's 18 trillion in consumer debt. 18 trillion. You know how much $1 trillion
Mm.
is? If you take $1,000 bills and stack them, $1,000 bills, stack them on top of each other, $1 million worth of $1,000 bills is 4 inches tall. $1 trillion worth of $1,000 bills is 67 miles tall.
Oof.
This is 18 trillion in consumer debt. People are smothering out there. They can't take a deep breath. They hate Christmas. We can fix that. Think about that. We can fix that with our debt-free life. And it's thousands and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of people out there like that praying every day. Please give me some relief. Please do something. Now think about it from a recruiting standpoint. Because of COVID, more people want to do something different. See, COVID sent them home, quarantined them at home. They got reintroduced to their family. They kind of like that. Okay. They learned their kids' names. That was cool. Then they were told to come back to their cubicle, and a lot of them didn't, few of them want, I mean, more than a few didn't want to go. A lot of people have retired because they didn't want to go back to their cubicle. They do surveys. Here's what they found in the surveys, that the majority of people out there want to do something different with their life and they want to do it from home. Guess who has that for them? We do.
Yeah.
So I'm just telling you, if you're not recruiting anybody, look, when I got here, Symmetry was 4 years old. 4 years old. They had 14 agency managers. They didn't have ownership then. 14 in 4 years. I was number 15. They had four top contracts. I was number five. Symmetry in 4 years produced 14. I've had 100 come up through my agency and get ownership. 100. This is the opportunity you have today, where it used to take people 3 or 4 or 5 years to become an agency manager or owner. We got people now doing it in 9 months. Brioriard, 9 months. So you have such a greater opportunity today than I did 12 years ago. And all anybody has on you, if you showed up today, the only thing they have on you is a head start.
Yeah.
That's it.
We love the perspective, Mr. Young. That was incredible. Everybody, give a shout out by putting a one there for Mr. Danny Young there. And then Danny, before, because I know your time is valuable. I mean, Sean, for sure, like if you have anything else for Mr. Danny Young, I'd really love to just say, but if we don't, Danny, we really appreciate you. We appreciate your leadership, what you stand for with the company. I think honestly, we're so blessed to have you as a direct upline mentor and leader.
No, no, no. I'm blessed to have y'all, Frank. Seriously, none of this happens without y'all.